Two delightful dunces and/or liars made a training video to inform conservatives about the evil lefties' use of language to manipulate the dumb masses.
And?
I'm here to prove they're going to do exactly the same thing in this video. Subscribe to Slam Brigade.
Every single word, phrase, and acronym must be vetted, and you must determine what implications every word has before publishing.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more.
The left is trying to dismantle America and rebuild it in their own image by using the art of deception, and words and definitions are their weapon of choice. Remember, words change culture.
I'll do that shit. Of course.
So I remember when I was in school, in elementary school, we were taught that we were all going to be frozen over by an ice age. And of course, this was terrifying. And then in the 80s, it was acid rain. We were all going to die from the acid rain. And then it moved to global warming, which I think, most of the people watching this tape will remember. That was during the Obama administration.
Yes.
And then science comes along and disproves the global warming theory in large part.
False.
And then the next thing you know, they're calling it climate change. Now, I always understood that climate change meant seasons.
Don't be so stupid.
Climate is the long-term average of weather conditions, usually calculated over 30 years. Anyway, was it the evil leftists that twisted global warming into climate change?
Nope.
In 2002, Frank Luntz, a
Republican,
wrote a memo to President Bush, another
Republican,
and he said,
"It's time for us to start talking about climate change instead of global warming. Climate change is less frightening than global warming." As one focus group participant noted, climate change sounds like you're going from Pittsburgh to Fort Lauderdale.
Beg your pardon? Were you saying something?
Language matters.
That's why I said these two are dunces and/or liars. Do you even care they're going to tell you the evil leftists changed the word when it was actually the Republican Party?
What do you think about all of about the left's words and definitions in the environment?
It's a great point, Katie.
That was a question, dum-dum.
They don't stop. Climate change, allegedly, is everywhere.
Yes, that's right.
And if the American people elect a conservative president, his administration will have to eradicate climate change references from absolutely everywhere.
Especially from the documents that a
Republican
wrote to specifically change the term global warming to climate change, so the conservatives could manipulate people into ignoring something that affects all people.
The scientific debate is closing against us, but not yet closed. There is still a window of opportunity to challenge the science.
AKA deny the science and lie to hundreds of millions of people and convince them weather and seasons are climate.
The left continually pivots and assaults definitions and phrases.
When I think of climate change, I immediately think of population control.
They twist words and phrases to support subconscious acceptance,
Population control.
of a philosophy that was rejected or is against the grain of human existence.
Enough irony for all of us.
This video is about how the left twists and redefines words to manipulate language to control the narrative. And she wants me to believe that climate change means population control, which is hilarious when the same woman also said,
He who controls the language rules the world. If you repeat a lie often enough, people will believe it.
Frank Luntz wanted to use the term climate change to soften the discussion around global warming, and 22 years later, conservatives blame the Democrats for what they did because they rely on people not looking up anything ever.
They used to call it different things, global warming, remember? That wasn't working because it was getting a little bit cooler, so they said, what are we going to do? We'll call it global cooling? No. So they came up with the words climate change.
I mean, their narrative is just incredible and so opposite of what the reality of the situation is.
And if you want any more proof these people are going to be terrible at their job and strip you of your rights, check this shit out.
You're the executive director for the America First Legal, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And America First Legal is a member of Project 2025, which is dedicated to creating the playbook for the next conservative administration and what it calls the Project Pillars, correct?
We are proud contributors to Project 2025.
The mandate outlines policy priorities for the next conservative president.
It does.
It calls for eliminating the Department of Education eliminating the Department of Commerce, deploying the military for the use of domestic law enforcement against protesters, the repealing of Schedule F status for thousands of federal employees to allow a president to replace career civil servants with unqualified partisan loyalists, prohibits the FBI from combating the spread of misinformation and disinformation. Project 2025 is giving the playbook for authoritarianism as well as the next dictator to come in.
I'm going to be a dictator for one day. I don't believe you.
He'll probably just redefine a day and then dictate all he likes.
The first phase of Project 2025 was a 922-page policy book published openly. The second phase is a comprehensive, concrete transition plan for each federal agency. These much more detailed plans are confidential.
Yeah. Because obviously you want as little of it to be FOIA-able, if you're familiar with the FOIA process, as possible. Freedom of Information Act. Yeah. You could just give the handbooks to everyone, be like, this is the game plan for the admin. Yeah. If the press knows that that's what you're doing, that they're going to immediately just say, like, I request all of your emails from Heritage.
There's a reason why they don't want the public to know their plans. There's a reason why J.D. Vance removed his website and redirected it to Trump's. If I was voting for a party that's actively trying to hide their plans from me, I'd be very concerned.
You're really weird.
I'll leave you with this.
It's called the child tax credit, and we should expand the child tax credit. If you think about what the child tax credit does...
So you and the Biden administration agree on the child care tax credit?
Well, we think it should be bigger. I think President Trump and I believe in an expanded child tax credit, but we also, importantly, want to actually get this thing done. The child tax credit has languished thanks to the Biden administration.
There's just a vote on this, you know that.
Well, let's...
And you weren't there.
If J.D. Vance sincerely gave a wit about working families in America, he would have shown up in the Senate and voted for my proposal to expand the child tax credit.
Good point.
President Trump and I believe in expanded child tax credit.
We also, importantly, want to actually get this thing done.
I don't think so.
Like the bloody video.